Reality TV from a mental health perspective. I'm up here early because, well, not early because I'm going to work, but I usually tend to get on here when I have missed an expected live or whatever, and I like to get on the next morning and give you guys like a bonus one. Even though I did one last night, everybody is always like, well, I'm not up at that time, so throwing you an extra time for the one that I fell asleep for. But before I start, I said this on my live yesterday. Today was the day that my dad was born. Rest in peace to him. His death date, I took the day off. I requested the day off, and I was very grateful that my boss gave me that day off. But when I got home, I stayed home, and I was like, you know what, this is great because I'm going to get to stay home and reflect, and I'm going to get to just, be in my feelings by myself. And I learned on that day that isolation was actually worse for me than doing something and being active. Like maybe if I had taken the day off and I had plans of something or I had something specific to do, I don't know, but just staying home in and of itself was really terrible. So I decided from then that when the birthday comes up, I'm going to go to work and do my job the best that I can. Even if I can't do my best, I'm going to give whatever the best I have. But I think that it's kind of beneficial to face your fears. And a strange fear of mine, I guess you could call it strange, is attention. And that might be funny to say for somebody who's doing a YouTube channel, but the attention I get on YouTube is like a controlled attention. I can pick and choose when I want to come on here. Like if I feel high of anxiety for the week, I can take a week off. If I decide that I want to put a live on and then before the live happens, I'm feeling panic attacks or something, which has happened before, I can just not do the live. If I start the live and then all of a sudden I just don't feel in the mood for the live, I can turn it off. So it's like I know that I always have control. Going into uncontrolled environments and having emotions is hard for me because emotions are not something that I can control when I feel them intensely enough. When I feel them moderately, I'm pretty good at, up my poker face, basically. But once I start to feel them more on the intense side of the scale, I can't hide them, and I just really hate showing. I don't want to call them strangers because they're not necessarily strangers, but people who are not within my inner circle. I don't like to show them things that pertain to them. Who's in the chat? Chiricity, hi Chocolate. Thank you. Aladia, I can't read it. But hello to you. So anyways, what happened between last night when I went to bed and when I woke up this morning? Last night, I was hearing Morgan, Ashley, and Ava. I think that's what I had heard last night. I woke up today and I heard Morgan, and I was like, how did this happen? I know that Keanu was having a conversation with Rachel. I think, unless he changes his mind, Keanu decided, you know what, I'm not going to put Rachel up because next week is Jerry and everybody wants her to get out. So I think it's more beneficial for me to have her here as my shield. That's what happened with that. But the thing I'm laughing at is not even Vince. Vince is willing to do anything for money. He's willing to do and say anything for money. Listen, you know what? Because you never know. In a house with a chance for $750,000, you know that desperation is going to be peak, next level. Vince turned everything on. The waterworks, the tears, the self-deprecation that he always does. because Keanu told him straight up that he has to put Morgan and him on the block together because he fears that if he puts one of them up, the other one might win the veto and take the other one down, which is probably accurate. Vince was saying things that made sense. Not Vince, I'm sorry. Keanu was saying things that made sense for the first time yesterday, because most of his reads have not made sense, but hey, he got it together a little bit towards the end. This motorcycle just freaked me out. Who got evicted? Catherine got evicted. I'm surprised he doesn't put up Ashley. Well, he didn't say he's was it Ashley? No, it wasn't Ashley. Unless he changed his mind, Mickey was the one that he was gonna put up. I heard him throwing around Ashley's name at first, but from what he settled on before he went to bed, it was Vince, Morgan, and Mickey, like Jacob was saying. Lupa. Hi. Yeah, so that's where we're at. And then Morgan was freaking out also, but Morgan seemed to be more focused on keeping Vince safe. Yo, this is the funny part, right? They're basically a showman, so I don't care what anyone says. Even if they're not hooking up, I don't know whether that's happening or not, because the production just wouldn't show us even if they were. But they operate the same as a showman's, Morgan and Vince. And I always knew that if we got ourselves into a situation where they said to Vince, okay, so y'all remember the Brittany and Michael thing in season 24 when they sat on the block together and Michael made this like ruthless, cutthroat speech to get Brittany out of the game, and he still got voted out anyways, but it was so ruthless. I don't think Vince is that ruthless, but in their conversations, like in Vince and Morgan's separate conversations with Keanu, Morgan was hella focused on keeping Vince safe. Vince was not giving her the same. Vince was just fighting for his own life in the game. Can you see me? Because the number of people viewing went way down again. And sometimes it's glitchy when that happens, and sometimes it's just randomly showing me something that's inaccurate. Oh yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Thank you. Okay. like my glasses. Thank you. Appreciate it. Five Below. I was thinking of going to Five Below, getting myself a couple more pairs, because I've gotten glasses that are like $100 glasses, $200 glasses before, and not gotten as many as I have for these $5.43 glasses. There was actually a lot to choose from in there. I just was trying to limit how much money I was spending. Five Below, Five Below. He is nominating Vince Morgan and Mickey instead of phone. That's what I figured, that Ashley would be a renom option for him. It's funny, all these people who are so excited about Keanu winning HOH exclusively to see him put up Rachel are going to be so disappointed if that doesn't happen. And it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen. Five Below. All right. Yesterday I read Vince told Morgan to win an HOH so they can keep the room. Is that legit? Chocolate? Okay. You just be randomly dropping bombs in my chat all the time, out of nowhere. It'll be like cold temperature, and then maybe it's getting a little lukewarm. No, you know what it is? It's like when I was in my household growing up, and I would get in the shower and leave the door unlocked, leave the bathroom door unlocked, and then my sister would run in there to flush the toilet. That's pretty much what you do, because it's actually morning time, and you just drop some crazy in there. Vince is definitely self-preservation, 1,000%. Vince's girlfriend Kelsey said Vince will have to deal with the consequences of his actions when he leaves the house. We can see you. I bet he will. I just subscribed. Thanks for the subscription. But yeah, I mean, that's hilarious. I mean, that's crazy if so. If he said that to her, that's crazy. And I saw on Twitter that people were, people in the house were now noticing these super long hugs of theirs, which I clocked from very early on. Ooh. Shoot. I made a wrong turn. What's happening? Yes. Hold on one second. I don't understand. If the volume goes down, it's going to be because of my GPS. I don't understand how I can go the same route every day and then randomly just make a wrong turn like that. Well, I do understand. I was on this live.
Use the left lane. Make a U-turn. Stay in the middle 2 lanes. In about 2.5 miles, turn left onto Greenwich Street.
False alarm. If that's a joke, okay, I'll give you like 2 minutes to explain that one, and I'll wait and see what your explanation is, and we'll go from there. If none, then I will go from there. Okay. Yes, he has been begging pathetically. Like I said, Vince will do anything for the dollar. That's Vince. I'm like, come on, man. Just like, don't be so weaselly. Just make your pitch. Forget all the crying and forget all the self-deprecation and all that stuff. Just make your pitch and let the chips fall where they may. I'm so, like, if I was in the house, I would be like, I would say, here's the thing. We can have a conversation. Just don't cry, please, because I don't believe your crying is genuine. So if you can tell me the exact same thing you want to tell me without any crying and without any self-deprecating, then we can have the conversation. And if not, I'm going to sleep. Crazy Kelly and Keanu are jurors. Yeah, but the thing is, unless Lauren is sitting in one of those final two chairs, they don't really have one of their people in there. They don't really have anyone that they were aligned with if they don't make the final two, because it's not out of the realm of possibility for either of them to make it there. Both of them won't make it there, obviously, but one of them could. One of them could just win their way to the end. Hi, Donna. Okay. You know what? Hold on one second. Right here and right now. ID. Vince will beg and growl. He didn't do that already? Vince is spineless. I'm sorry to say. Vince is a spineless jellyfish. No spine and no backbone. He's so whiny. Please don't put me up, please. Please. I'll do anything. What do you want me to do? I'll do anything. Vince will do anything not to be in the final two chair. I mean, Vince will do anything to get to a final two chair, rather. That's what I meant to say. I can't handle it either. It would irritate me to no end. I'll be like, stand up, man. Say it with your chest. Especially when the crying is an attempt at manipulation, which I think that Keanu is actually catching on to at this point. Took him a while, but he eventually got there. Like the last horse got into the station. It seems like. At least when it comes to Vince. But you know what? This is probably why he started to make sense to me. Because every week you think you're aligned with this one and this one and this one and this one and this one. And he's never had power any of these weeks. He's never had power The only power that he had really was, I think that he got a power veto one time, but then he took somebody off, or he took himself off, maybe, I can't remember. And he campaigned for somebody. He campaigned for the replacement nom, like put this person up as the replacement nom. They were not put up. So when you see all of these things going this way, well, this person promised me this and did this, and this person promised me this and they did that, and this one promised me that and they did that, and this one promised me this but then they did that. Oh, okay, so none of these people are on my side. I think that's really where the point that he's gotten to. He finally got to that point after all this time. But listen, man, better late than never, I guess, because look at Jag. Jag was off about the game the whole game. The whole game the man was off. And then I didn't park it, right? The whole game he was off. And then all of a sudden, he kind of caught onto the game right at the end, and then look at it. Look what happened. He ended up winning. Hi, Ma. All right. If it's Mick, Vince, and Morgan, I want to say Vince is the bigger target if he's on there with Morgan. I'm a break from this week, so this Thursday is a regular eviction, so they got to get rid of 9 people in 3 weeks. Okay, I have reached my destination. I gotta do something for 8 hours, something strange for some change, like putting one of these things around my neck and pretending to be somebody professional for 8 hours, which I can't wait until I never have to do again. I will forever believe that I will find the alternative way. Maybe I'll go on Big Brother and just crash out on week 1 and become famous, and then become a TikTok star, and then go from there. All right, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Talk to you later.